I know what's in this drink, Nicole. Game over.
I'm Tyler Morrison, 38 years old, running a cybersecurity company in Chicago that I built from absolutely nothing. Morrison Tech Solutions protects some of the biggest corporations in America from digital threats. The irony still gets me. I spent my entire career defending people from invisible dangers, completely blind to the real threat living in my own house. My phone buzzed that Tuesday morning. Nicole's name appeared with a message. Just touched down in Miami. Conference kicks off tomorrow. Already missing you. I smiled and texted back something about eliminating her presentation. We'd been married 7 years. Nicole Garcia Morrison had everything I thought I wanted. Gorgeous, charismatic, Northwestern MBA, crushing it in pharmaceutical sales. We met at some charity thing, and 6 months later I proposed on a beach in Greece. Chicago Magazine even featured our wedding in their society pages. But something had shifted recently. Nicole seemed disconnected, preoccupied. More conferences than usual, later nights with supposed clients. Our conversations had deteriorated into mundane logistics about errands and schedules. I figured it was normal. 2 demanding careers, the natural ebb and flow of marriage. Nothing to worry about. I decided to do something nice while she was gone. Hired a professional cleaning company to deep clean the entire house. When Nicole returned from Miami, everything would be spotless. Maybe we could reconnect over a home-cooked meal and good wine. It seemed thoughtful, romantic even. That afternoon, everything changed. Around 3 o'clock, my phone rang. Unknown caller. A woman's voice, barely audible, trembling with fear. Mr. Morrison, this is Sandra Wilson from Premium Clean Services. I can't stay in your house. Sir, you need to get home immediately. My stomach dropped. What? I'm literally pulling in right now. What happened? I'm outside on your front lawn. Please, just come. Please. The line went dead. I threw the car into park and jumped out. Sandra Wilson sat on my perfectly manicured grass, her cleaning supplies scattered everywhere, mascara running down her cheeks in black streaks. She looked around 50, with kind eyes now filled with absolute terror. Mrs. Wilson? Sandra? I crouched beside her. What's going on? She pointed toward my house with a shaking finger. The master bedroom closet. I was dusting the top shelf and a box fell open. I saw what was inside. Mr. Morrison, I'm so sorry, but you have to see this yourself. I helped her to her feet, my mind racing through possibilities. Pills? Something from my late parents? I'd inherited this brownstone 5 years ago. Maybe there were old family secrets I didn't know about. Stay right here. I'll call someone to drive you home. Are you hurt? No, just please be careful. I entered my home. Everything smelled like lemon cleaner and lavender. The floors gleamed. The living room looked immaculate. Nothing seemed wrong. I climbed the stairs to the master bedroom, pulse hammering in my ears. The closet door stood wide open, Nicole's side. The top shelf, usually holding seasonal items, winter scarves, old purses, beach bags, now had a cardboard box lying open on the floor, contents spilled everywhere like entrails. My knees almost gave out. Photographs, dozens of surveillance photos of me. Walking to my car, entering my office building, having dinner with clients at restaurants, having coffee meetings. Each photo was dated, going back months. There were printed emails with highlighted passages about my schedule, my habits, my daily routines, my meetings, a burner phone, a ledger filled with dates and dollar amounts, tracking something I couldn't immediately decipher. A passport with Nicole's photo, but a completely different name, Catherine Mercer. But what made my blood turn to ice was the small glass vial labeled with a chemical compound I recognized from a conference about corporate espionage last year. A tasteless, odorless substance that induces heart attacks, untraceable when administered correctly. Beneath everything was a handwritten note in Nicole's distinctive looping handwriting. Timeline moved up. He suspects nothing. Policy pays double for accidental passing. 2 weeks, then we're free. K. The room spun. I sat down hard on the bedroom floor, my analytical mind struggling to process the impossible. My wife, the woman I'd loved, trusted, built a life with for 7 years, was actively planning to eliminate me for insurance money with someone else. We're free. There was an accomplice. 7 years of marriage, 7 years of shared memories, closeness, building a future together. All of it a calculated lie. My phone was in my hand before I consciously decided to use it. 911, what's your emergency? My name is Tyler Morrison. I need police at my residence immediately. I've discovered evidence of a planned homicide. My homicide. My voice sounded distant, robotic. Detective Samuel Hayes arrived within 20 minutes, accompanied by 2 uniformed officers and a crime scene technician. Hayes was a Chicago PD homicide veteran, 45 years old, with graying temples and eyes that had seen too much darkness. But those eyes sharpened considerably when he examined the box's contents. "Mr. Morrison, walk me through this from the beginning," Hayes said, pulling out a notebook. "And don't touch anything else." I recounted everything. The cleaning service, Sandra's panicked call, the discovery. Hayes listened intently, occasionally making notes, his expression growing increasingly grim with each detail. "The chemical compound in that vial?" Hayes said carefully. "We'll need to test it, but if it's what you think it is, we're talking about premeditated homicide. The surveillance photos alone constitute stalking and conspiracy." He paused. "Where's your wife right now?" "Miami. A pharmaceutical conference at the Fontainebleau Hotel. She left this morning." Hayes exchanged a glance with one of the officers. "We'll need to verify that. Officer Martinez, make the call." He turned back to me. "Any idea who the accomplice might be? The note mentions we." I'd been turning that question over in my mind since reading the note. Who would Nicole conspire with? An affair seemed obvious, but with whom? I'd been so absorbed in building my business, so trusting. Had there been signs I'd completely missed? Late-night phone calls she took in another room? Unexplained absences? Extra care with her appearance? "I don't know," I admitted, "but I'm going to find out." "Let us handle this, Mr. Morrison. You've stumbled onto something extremely serious. If your wife is planning what it looks like she's planning, confronting her could be dangerous. You could end up dead." The crime scene tech called out from the closet. "Detective, you need to see this." Behind a row of Nicole's expensive designer shoes, Louboutins, Jimmy Choo's, Manolos, the tech had discovered a false panel in the wall. Inside was a laptop I'd never seen before and a stack of documents. Hayes pulled on gloves and carefully removed the items. The laptop was password protected, but the documents told their own devastating story. Bank statements for accounts I'd never heard of, printed emails between Nicole and someone identified only as RL, discussing the project and removing obstacles. Flight manifests showing coordinated travel. Hotel reservations for 2 people under different names. But the insurance document made everything crystal clear. A $5 million life insurance policy on Tyler Morrison, taken out 18 months ago, with Nicole Morrison as sole beneficiary. I'd never signed any such policy. Yet there was my signature, absolutely perfect in every detail. Every loop, every stroke, every flourish matched my real signature exactly. "Forgery," Hayes muttered. "Professional forgery. She's been planning this for over a year and a half." My mind was a whirlwind. 18 months. While I'd been working late, celebrating anniversaries, making love to my wife, planning our future, she'd been meticulously plotting my end. The betrayal was a physical pain in my chest, making it hard to breathe. Officer Martinez returned. "Detective, Nicole Morrison's phone is pinging from Miami as stated. But here's what's interesting. She's registered at the Fontainebleau under her maiden name Garcia, and there's a second room booked under the name Richard Lynn. Same hotel, same floor, adjacent rooms." "Richard Lynn," I repeated, something clicking into place. "Rich Lynn. He works for one of our competitors, Fortress Security Systems. I've met him at industry events. Arrogant guy, always bragging about his sales numbers, his client acquisitions." My fists clenched. "He tried to recruit me last year, offered me a partnership if I'd bring my client list with me. I turned him down flat." "Sounds like motive," Hayes said. "If he couldn't get your business legitimately, maybe he decided on another approach. Romance your wife, get access to your life, your money, your business secrets? Question is, who approached whom? Did he target her or did she target him?" The crime scene tech was examining the laptop with specialized equipment. "Got into the hard drive, encrypted files, but I can see metadata, email exchanges going back 2 years between CG and RL, also what looks like draft wills, legal documents transferring assets, travel plans to the Cayman Islands." 2 years, even longer than I'd suspected. A cold fury began replacing the shock. This wasn't a crime of passion or a sudden decision. This was calculated, methodical, patient. They'd studied me like a target, learned my patterns, documented my movements, forged my signature, planned to eliminate me and disappear with millions. But they'd made one critical mistake. They'd underestimated me. I'd built my fortune by anticipating threats, by thinking 3 steps ahead of hackers and corporate spies. I'd created entire systems designed to detect and prevent deception. And while I'd catastrophically failed to see the deception in my own home, now that my eyes were open, my mind was already working several moves ahead. "Detective Hayes, I said, my voice steady now, controlled. What happens next? We collect this evidence, build our case. We'll coordinate with Miami PD to pick up your wife and Mr. Lin for questioning. With what we have here, we can make arrests for conspiracy to commit homicide, insurance fraud, forgery. They're looking at serious prison time. How long before they're arrested? Couple of days. We need warrants, proper procedures. Everything has to be done by the book, or a good defense attorney will get it thrown out. Wait. I stood up, my mind racing through possibilities. Nicole doesn't know I found this. As far as she knows, she's still completely in control. If we arrest her now, we get her and Lynn, but we might not get everything. There could be other people involved, contingency plans we don't know about, money already moved offshore. Hayes' eyes narrowed. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we let them think they've won. Let them continue with their plan, but on our terms. Set a trap. You get irrefutable evidence of attempted homicide caught in the actual act. I get real justice, and we make absolutely certain everyone involved pays. Mr. Morrison, that's extremely dangerous. You'd be putting yourself at significant risk. If something goes wrong, if they suspect the trap, you could end up dead for real. I've been at risk for 2 years without knowing it. At least now I can prepare. And I have advantages they don't know about. My entire career is based on surveillance, on creating digital trails, on documenting everything. If we do this right, we can catch them red-handed and ensure they never hurt anyone else. Hayes was quiet for a long moment, weighing the options. Finally, he said, This isn't officially sanctioned, but if you're willing to wear a wire, if you agree to follow strict protocols and keep me informed of every single step, we might be able to build an even stronger case, one that's absolutely airtight. I extended my hand. Then let's give them enough rope to hang themselves. As we shook hands, I felt something fundamental shift inside me. The shock and betrayal were still there, burning hot, but they were fuel now. Fuel for the careful, calculated response that would ensure Nicole and Rich Lynn paid for every single moment of their deception. Later that night, I sat in my living room with a glass of scotch I wasn't drinking. While Hayes' team finished processing the crime scene upstairs, my phone buzzed with another text from Nicole. Dinner was incredible. Wish you were here. Love you so much. The casual ease of her lie was staggering. She was probably with Rich Lynn right now, celebrating their perfect plan, counting down the days until I was dead and the insurance money cleared. Maybe laughing about how easy I was to fool. My assistant, Jennifer Park, arrived at my urgent request, her face pale with shock when I'd called with a vague explanation about a serious situation. She'd worked with me for 6 years, and I trusted her completely. She was sharp, discreet, and fiercely loyal. Tyler, what the hell is happening? Jennifer asked, settling into the chair across from me. You sounded terrible on the phone. I told her everything. The box, the photos, the poison, the conspiracy with Rich Lynn, the planned homicide. Jennifer's expression morphed from disbelief to horror to pure rage. That absolute psychopath, Jennifer hissed. I never liked her, you know. Always thought she was too polished, too perfect, too calculated, like she was performing the role of successful wife instead of actually being one. But this, she shook her head, this is beyond anything I could have imagined. How are you even functioning right now? I'm not sure I am, I admitted. But Hayes and I have a plan. We're going to catch them in the act. Let them think everything's going according to their plan, then spring the trap when they try to eliminate me. And you need me to help? I need someone I trust, someone who knows my schedule, my business, my life, someone who can help me appear completely normal while we set this trap. Can you do that? Jennifer leaned forward. Tell me exactly what you need. Over the next 2 hours, we planned meticulously. I would continue my routine as if nothing had changed. I'd respond to Nicole's texts, welcome her home from Miami, play the unsuspecting husband perfectly. Meanwhile, Hayes' team would monitor her movements, track Rich Lynn, build their case in the background. But I had other plans too, plans the detective didn't need to know about yet. Jennifer, I need you to dig into Rich Lynn's background. Everything. I want to know who he is, where he came from, his financial situation, any skeletons in his closet. Use whatever resources we have. Call in favors if necessary, but keep it absolutely quiet. Consider it done. What else? Nicole's past. We met 7 years ago, but I realize now I don't actually know much about her life before that. She said her parents died when she was young, that she was raised by an aunt in California. But what if that's all lies too? What if everything she told me was manufactured? Jennifer nodded, making notes on her phone. I'll start tonight. Tyler, I have to ask, what are you really planning here? I met her eyes. Justice. But my kind of justice. The kind that ensures they regret every single moment of this conspiracy. The kind that makes sure they never hurt anyone else. After Jennifer left, I retreated to my study, a room Nicole rarely entered, filled with my computers, monitors, and security equipment. If she wanted to play games with surveillance, she'd pick the wrong target. I began with Nicole's digital footprint. Despite being married to a cybersecurity expert, she'd been sloppy in certain ways. Her laptop, the one Hayes' team found, was now in police custody. But I had access to our shared cloud accounts, her email backups, her social media histories, years of digital breadcrumbs. I started unraveling the threads systematically. The Nicole Garcia I'd married had supposedly worked for Pearson Pharmaceuticals. Or had she? I pulled up employment records, tax documents, professional licenses. Everything checked out superficially. But when I dug deeper, inconsistencies emerged. Gaps in her employment history, addresses that didn't quite match up, a professional network that seemed oddly thin for someone supposedly in pharmaceutical sales for over a decade. Then I found it. A news article from 9 years ago from Las Vegas. California woman arrested in casino fraud scheme. The photo showed a younger Nicole, or rather Catherine Mercer, being led away in handcuffs. The article detailed how she and an accomplice had scammed wealthy casino patrons, seducing them, sedating them, draining their accounts. The accomplice's name, Richard Lynn. My blood ran cold. They'd done this before. Not homicide, perhaps, but a similar con. Target wealthy men, gain their trust, take their money. The charges had been dropped due to insufficient evidence. Sufferers too embarrassed to testify. Evidence too circumstantial. So they'd evolved their operation. Marriage was a longer con, but it legitimized everything. And when the marriage ran its course, or when they got sufficiently greedy, the husband conveniently died and the grieving widow collected insurance money. How many times had they done this? Was I just the latest in a series of sufferers? I kept digging, cross-referencing names, dates, locations. Over the next 3 hours, I found 3 more potential sufferers. Men who'd married women matching Nicole's description. Men who died in accidents or from natural causes within a few years of marriage. In each case, the widow had vanished shortly after collecting life insurance payouts, and the trail went completely cold. One sufferer, a real estate developer named James Patterson in Phoenix, had a brother who'd posted desperate pleas on social media claiming his brother's wife had eliminated him. But without hard evidence, the cases remained closed. Marcus Chen in Austin, heart attack at 42 with no prior health issues. David Foster in Portland, drowning during a solo fishing trip. All wealthy, all dead, all with grieving families who suspected foul play but couldn't prove it. I compiled everything into a secure, encrypted file. This wasn't just about saving myself anymore. This was about stopping a pattern of hunters, about justice for the men who'd come before me, whose ends had been dismissed as unfortunate coincidences. My phone buzzed. Hayes, Morrison, we've got movement. Your wife just booked a flight home, arriving tomorrow afternoon. And get this. Rich Lynn booked the same flight under a different name. They're getting sloppy or overconfident. Or they're confident, I replied. Either way, it means they're moving forward with whatever timeline they've set. Good, let them come. Remember, you wear the wire at all times. You follow protocols exactly. No heroics. We do this by the book. Understood, detective. No heroics. The next afternoon, I stood at the airport arrivals terminal holding white roses, Nicole's favorite flowers, and wearing the carefully crafted expression of a devoted husband. The wire taped to my chest was nearly invisible. The tiny camera in my watch captured everything. 20 feet away, Hayes sat in an unmarked car monitoring the feed. 30 feet beyond that, 2 more undercover officers kept watch. Nicole emerged from the gate, pulling a sleek carry-on, dressed in a tailored blazer and designer jeans. Her smile was radiant as she spotted me. She looked like a woman returning from a successful business trip. She looked nothing like a butcher planning her husband's passing. Tyler. She rushed forward, dropping her bag to embrace me. Her kiss was warm, familiar, and it took everything in my power not to recoil. Missed you so much, I managed, handing her the roses. How was Miami? Exhausting, but productive. The presentation went perfectly. I think we're landing the Meridian Health contract. She linked her arm through mine. How was your week? Did you survive without me? Barely, I said smoothly, though I did hire that cleaning service. Wanted to surprise you with a spotless house. I felt her stiffen fractionally before she recovered. Oh, how thoughtful. I hope they did a good job? Actually, the woman seemed shaken when she left. said she found something that startled her in the bedroom closet, an old photo album that fell on her head. I think we scared the poor woman with our family history. Nicole laughed, but it sounded forced. Oh dear, well, I should send her a tip as an apology. Did everything else go smoothly? Perfect. The house looks great. The drive home was filled with Nicole's chatter about the conference, carefully constructed lies about presentations and networking events. I played my part, asking questions, feigning interest while my mind worked on another level. Hayes' team had searched our home thoroughly while Nicole was away, placing additional cameras and audio equipment. Every room was now monitored. Every word would be recorded. When we pulled into the driveway, I noticed a dark sedan parked down the street. Expensive car, tinted windows. It pulled away as we arrived. Through the wire, I murmured, "Black sedan heading north on Oakdale? Might be nothing." Hayes' voice crackled in my earpiece. "We saw it. Running plates now. Could be Lynn doing reconnaissance, checking on his investment." Inside, Nicole did a convincing show of admiring the cleaning job. "Wow, they really did a thorough job. Everything looks perfect." But her eyes were sharp, searching, looking for signs that the box had been discovered. When she made her way to the master bedroom, I followed. She opened the closet door, glancing up at the top shelf. The box was gone, in police custody, but they'd replaced it with a similar one filled with innocent items. Winter scarves, old photo albums, exactly what should have been there all along. She reached up, pulled it down, opened it. Her face remained neutral, but I saw the momentary flash of panic before she controlled it. "Looking for something?" I asked casually. "Just checking on some old photos I stored up there. I thought I might have left my grandmother's necklace in one of these boxes." She smiled, closing it and returning it to the shelf. "Must be in my jewelry box. I'm getting forgetful." That evening, I told her about the rumor Jennifer had been strategically spreading through business channels, that my company was facing financial troubles, a major lawsuit from a client whose data had been breached, potential bankruptcy. I could see Nicole's eyes gleam with barely concealed excitement even as she tried to look concerned. "How bad is it?" she asked, placing her hand on my arm. "Bad enough that we might need to liquidate assets. The house, maybe, scale back significantly. I'm meeting with lawyers and accountants all week." I rubbed my face, playing exhaustion perfectly. "The legal fees alone could destroy us." She hugged me. "We're a team, remember? We'll figure this out together, for better or worse, right?" I also mentioned increasing my life insurance policy, just in case something happens to me with all this stress. The hook was set perfectly. If my business was failing, if my assets would be frozen in litigation, but my life insurance was doubling, they had to act fast. Dead, I'd be worth more than alive, but only if they moved before everything collapsed. That night, through the surveillance equipment Hayes' team had installed, I heard Nicole on the phone with Rich in another room. "Tomorrow night, I'll put the compound in his scotch. He has one glass every evening at 9, like clockwork. He'll have a heart attack in his sleep. Natural causes, stress from business failure, just like Phoenix was perfect. And Austin, and Portland." Hayes' voice in my earpiece. "We've got enough. We can arrest them right now. Conspiracy, attempted homicide." "No," I murmured. "Let them try. I want them caught with the compound in my drink, their intention undeniable. I want every single charge to stick. No room for reasonable doubt, no possibility of them walking free." The next evening, Nicole made dinner, salmon and asparagus, my favorite. She was playing the devoted wife perfectly. After dinner, we moved to the living room. When I went to pour my scotch, the new bottle she'd purchased earlier that day, Nicole stood quickly. "Here, let me pour that for you. You sit down. Relax. You've had such a stressful day." This was it, the moment everything came to a head. Through the reflection in the window, I watched her hand slip into her pocket, withdrawing something small, the vial. She carefully added it to my glass, her movements practiced, confident. "She's adding it now," I murmured through the wire. Hayes' response. "We see it. The moment you confirm the compound is in the glass, we move in." Nicole returned with the glass, her smile absolutely perfect. "Here you go. You've earned this. To relaxation and better days ahead." I took the glass, studying the amber liquid. Then I stood, walking to the bar. "Actually, let me make a toast first. To us. To 7 years together. This seems like a moment worth commemorating." I poured a second glass from the same bottle, not the one I was holding. "Here, have some scotch with me. It's a special evening after all." Panic flashed across Nicole's face, unmistakable now. "I don't like scotch. You know that. I have my wine." Indulge me just this once. We can drink together to whatever comes next. She stared at the glass like it was a live snake. I really don't want... What's wrong, Nicole? My voice turned cold, the pretense dropping completely. Afraid of what might be in it? Her face went white. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the compound you just added to my drink. The same untraceable poison you used on James Patterson in Phoenix, Marcus Chen in Austin, and David Foster in Portland. I'm talking about you and Rich Lynn planning to eliminate me for insurance money, just like you've done to 3 other men. Nicole bolted for the door. The front entrance burst open. Nicole Morrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit homicide. Attempted homicide. She ran for the back door, but officers blocked her escape. She spun toward me, wild-eyed, then lunged, screaming. Fingers clawed like an animal. Officers tackled her before she reached me, forcing her to the ground. You think you've won? She shrieked as they cuffed her. Rich will find you. You're a dead man, Tyler Morrison. I crouched down, meeting her eyes with Arctic calm. Rich Lynn was arrested 20 minutes ago. Even as you were poisoning my drink, FBI agents were raiding his office and home. They have everything. All his financial records, communications with you, evidence linking you both to 3 homicides. He's going to prison for the rest of his life. And so are you. I stood slowly. But here's the thing, Nicole. I didn't just gather enough evidence to convict you. I documented everything. Every crime, every sufferer, every lie. The families of the men you eliminated are being contacted tonight. They'll finally have closure, finally have justice. And your name, Catherine Mercer, or whatever you're really called, will be synonymous with everything vile and carnivory in this world. You wanted my money, my life, my passing. Instead, you get to spend the rest of your existence in a cage, knowing you failed, knowing the man you tried to destroy was smarter, stronger, and better than you in every way. That's your legacy now. Over the following months, the trials unfolded across multiple states. Jennifer's research revealed Nicole was actually Catherine Volkova, a Russian national who'd been running honeypot schemes since her teens. Part of organized crime in Moscow before fleeing to the U.S. at 17 with falsified documents. Rich tried to cooperate, blamed everything on Catherine, but my evidence made his testimony largely unnecessary. I testified at every trial. Met the families, Sarah Patterson, James' widow, who told me through tears. For 3 years, everyone said I was paranoid, but I knew. A wife knows when something's wrong. Marcus Chen's brother, Philip, flew in from Austin. David Foster's elderly parents came from Portland. Each had suspected but couldn't prove anything. Each had lived with that uncertainty, that grief mixed with suspicion. Catherine was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree homicide, multiple fraud charges, conspiracy, forgery, insurance fraud, 4 consecutive life sentences plus 150 years. Rich got nearly the same. Both are in maximum security federal prison. They'll never breathe free air again. I launched the Morrison Foundation, free cybersecurity and legal services for sufferers of domestic violence and financial crime. Already helped dozens of people escape dangerous situations, protected them from digital stalking. I received a letter from Diana Foster, David's 16-year-old daughter. Because of you, I finally understand what happened to my dad. I can finally move forward. You gave me my life back. Thank you. 6 months after Catherine's conviction, Hayes called. Catherine was attacked in prison today. Another inmate whose sister died in a similar scheme years ago. Catherine's in the infirmary, but she'll survive. It's a reminder, even locked away, she's not safe. She'll spend her life looking over her shoulder, never knowing when someone will come for her. Good. She should know fear. Should know what it's like to be targeted, to be helpless, to wonder if each day might be your last. People ask if I can trust again. I trust differently now. I trust but verify. I listen to my instincts. I don't ignore red flags or dismiss suspicions. But yes, I still trust. Because the alternative, living in fear, isolated, unable to connect with people, would mean Catherine won. And she didn't win. I'm still here, stronger than before, with purpose and meaning. She's in prison forever, her life effectively over. The woman I married never existed. Catherine Volkova saw me as a mark, a paycheck, something to eliminate when convenient. But she made one critical mistake. She underestimated me. I built my career anticipating threats, thinking 10 steps ahead of the smartest hackers and corporate spies in the world. I used those same skills to ensure my survival and her complete destruction. She tried to end my life. Instead, She gave it new meaning. I now protect others from hunters like her. That's the ultimate revenge. She spends her life in a cage while I spend mine making the world safer, helping sufferers, ensuring justice. She lost everything, her freedom, her future, her identity. I gained a mission that matters. The nightmare is over. Justice was served completely, and I'm exactly where I need to be, standing tall, unbowed, ready to face whatever comes next with the strength of someone who stared death in the face and emerged victorious. The hunt ended, the healing began, and true justice prevailed.